So Thursday will be the X date deadline. According to reports, according to Janet Yellen, according to President Biden, according to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we are on the verge of a debt crisis and a collapse that could ultimately wipe out millions, roughly 66 million to be somewhat precise and exact. Interestingly enough, I came across an article and it was titled something along the lines to the effect of, "You're not checking your 401k retirement plan enough." And with that being said, questions being asked, concern being raised about how the debt crisis could affect your 401k. So I'm just going to share with you some information here that could potentially help you prepare for this shockwave that is about to ripple through not only our U.S. government, but through our society as well, with many folks who rely on the payments, the obligations that the government has to them, to their income, to their fixed income, to their jobs, to their ability to survive, sustain their livelihood. This is going to be very, very important. Now, I will say thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The Hill says that stock values have tanked and bond yields have spiked in recent weeks as Wall Street becomes increasingly fearful of a federal default. And experts say that the damage could be minor and ultimately reversible if lawmakers can avert a default. Now, can they avert a default? That's going to be the big question. So far, granted, Biden and McCarthy are having talks. It doesn't seem like they're making any real progress towards avoiding so far or averting. Time will tell. But the battle poses serious risks to retirement accounts, especially for Americans on the verge of leaving the labor market, which this could, as well as other various factors that we have been covering here on this channel for a while, could potentially sway that decision. Interestingly enough, the default could force some to be forced to leave the labor market earlier than expected. And this would be through a negative impact that the business, the company that they work for, would experience. The timing of a significant drop in the stock market is crucial for about 10 to 20 million Americans. And that's considerably less than the 66 million that would be affected by Social Security and their inability to cut the check for Social Security fixed income beneficiary recipients. While the threat is greatest for baby boomers who are reaching the end of their working years and have less time to recover from a hit to their retirement accounts than younger workers will. So typically financial advisors would probably ask you a simple question, and that would be, based on your age and a variety of other factors, what's your risk level? Your risk level previously would have probably been a lot higher, and you would have had greater tolerance for risk with having more time to work and for the market to fluctuate. Whereas now, today, time is a huge factor that a lot of people just don't have on their side, and they're trying to make something happen very quickly. And what may happen is they may actually lose a lot of money very quickly. The interesting thing about investing, 401k, retirement plans, whatever it may be, is you really don't lose or make any money until you actually sell or you actually cash out. So even though we may see some fluctuations and a downward trend, that may not necessarily be terrible, but if you need the money now or relatively soon, then that could be very, very bad. If the politics of the debt limit cause the stock market to decrease, even for a couple of months this year, it could have the effect that the steep decline in the stock market did back in 2008. If you're not familiar with what happened in 2008, odds are you're probably not watching this video, But if you are, then you know just how bad we don't want to find ourselves in that situation again. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned earlier this week that the country is already seeing the impacts of brinksmanship, noting the changes seen in the bonds market in recent weeks. Borrowing costs have spiked as investors become increasingly worried about the federal government's ability to pay its debt beyond June. Yellen warned lawmakers this week the U.S. could default as soon as June 1, which is just 10 days from now, next Thursday or Thursday after. Yeah, so next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. Sorry. My math is off in my head because I'm thinking, wait, tomorrow's the 25th, so 10 days, but no, because we're at the end of the month. So anyway, June 1 would be the D date, or X date is what they're calling it. And Yellen warned lawmakers this week the U.S. could default as soon as June 1 and set off a catastrophic financial meltdown. And this is going to be what she has been discussing with these private bankers, the Citi groups, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, the CEOs of these companies, these major Wall Street banks, JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon. Investors have become more reluctant to hold government debt that matures in early June, with good reason. Yellen said Tuesday at a conference hosted by the Independent Community Bankers of America, the ICBA. I don't know if you guys saw that, but if not, I did put up a video highlighting a lot of the points that she covered. You might want to go check that out after this one. The impasse has already increased the debt burden to American taxpayers. So it's like pouring salt in the wound. Yellen cited reporting from the White House Council of Economic Advisors that showed a protracted default could lead to a downturn as severe as the Great Recession. So not only do we have record job loss, we have record inflation, we have a banking crisis and systemic risk and contagion that we've already experienced that is still, a looming threat. We now have the potential for a financial market catastrophe that could lead to a downturn as severe as the Great Recession. So, yeah, that's a thing. In its simulation, over 8 million Americans lose their jobs. Business and consumer confidence take a substantial hit. The value of the stock market is slashed by about 45%, wiping out years of retirement and other household savings, if there is any. Whereas many Americans do not have enough in savings to cover a $500 emergency should it arise. Spiking interest rates are hitting the bond market hard, sapping another source of growth for retirement accounts. Uncertainty about debt limit discussions could help drive up interest rates on a longer-term basis. The higher interest rates reduce the value of bonds, and so for those people, that could be a pretty big hit too. And if the bond rates stay high after that, then that would be very concerning. While higher rates could produce better results, money in interest-bearing bank accounts, those invested in long-term bonds are the ones that are going to get the hit. But odds are, given the black swan event that we're experiencing right now, I'm extremely skeptical as far as, the amount of money that would be sitting in interest-bearing bank accounts. I mean, we already know that many people are looking to pull, if not already having pulled their money out of the banks, and also moving to money market. Now, we've been warned that the market volatility poses serious risks for 401k and individual retirement accounts, or IRAs. People have been following sensible advice by putting more bonds in their retirement accounts as they get older, but the Federal Reserve and the debt limit has now made those bonds a lot less safe than they ever were. Concerning, to say the least. You guys are probably no stranger to the term central bank digital currency, or FedNow, or de-dollarization. It almost seems like the writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall. Experts are also concerned about the potential of mass exit from financial markets and retirement accounts if the debt fight, or worse, a default, causes panic among Americans. And I'm really hoping that there's a resolution. However, June 1, June 2, June 3, if there hasn't been, maybe even to June 15, what Yellen is talking about in certain instances. If there's no solution, no resolution, and people are going without, then I think that panic will erupt. Crisis will set in. And one concern is that if this volatility does it scare people from saving, from investing in the stock market because they don't want to lose their capital? And I think that is I think it's probably going to be a pretty clear answer on that, and the general consensus. I know me personally, my opinions. I don't want to persuade or inject any bias here, so I'll leave that to myself. But the concern for people and their savings and investing in the stock market, I think that's a real threat. Then that becomes a concern, and that could have a longer term impact, even if this event volatility doesn't last. But you really only get one chance to make a first impression, and this move here by our government and what could potentially happen to people's livelihoods, their life savings, their retirements, their 401ks, their investments, their stocks, their money and savings, it's going to be hard to recover for them, but also for the government who allowed this to happen. People were concerned about volatility, and therefore they didn't feel comfortable about retirement. And I can't say that I blame them. There's so much going on besides just the volatility that would make me probably want to stay employed as long as possible. But at the same time, for some of these folks who've been working 30, 40, 50 years, they're thinking, I'm ready to hang it up. But maybe they can't, unfortunately. And people that are near the retirement age are making the decision, and those people are going to be in a very difficult situation for sure. And if they already have their date set, they could be in a situation that's going to be very difficult to recover from, and perhaps maybe their employer may not allow them to postpone that date. And to react in a way that moves everything out because of this one issue would be short-sighting, because you will not know when to jump back in. And you may miss out on some of the bigger gains, especially when we are referring to your mutual funds and your bond investments and your stock market investments, given the current situation, the current climate. I've got a lot of questions here that I wish I could answer them all, from viewers, leaving comments, emails, DMs, direct messages on Instagram. Where do I invest? Just some overwhelming questions, some statements being made about 401ks having been destroyed thanks to the Democrats. As one person shared that their husband's 401k was growing, and then the Biden administration took office and the Democrats destroyed the economy. Being disabled, and also the doctors not allowing him to work, even a part-time job, forced that family to end up in a situation where they were struggling just to keep the lights on, much less buy food, stockpile, or prep. And they've decided, have to decide if they're going to get their medication or if they're going to get food. It's not going to be both. Meanwhile, they keep telling them that they're not qualified to get any help from the government, ironically. No food stamps, no medical assistance other than Medicare. It's crazy. I try to cover money and financial information and news, economy, try to keep you guys savvy, potentially, sharing some books with you guys. Think and Grow Rich is always on the top of the list. But others are even saying invest in bullets, invest in guns, food, and storable goods, because war is coming. Get what you can, because the corrupt government is going to stand against the people. I mean, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but it is definitely a pretty shitty situation. I told you guys about my bank calling me the other day, and I really can't even begin to consider taking their offer seriously, just because of the current state of the economy, what is going on and what is likely on the horizon. I do urge you guys to stay alert, stay aware, stay educated, stay informed, stay tuned. Not only to this channel, but also go check out Chris Igo, ChrisIgoe1. So that's at Chris Igo 1. We've got a very, very important and in-depth discussion and conversation about the state of the economy, the state of this country, a lot of things that are going on, hitting the news. It's actually going to premiere tonight at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to do my best to go ahead and get this video wrapped up, edited, uploaded, and sent out to you all. I hope you guys take care. Hope you guys are having an amazing day, a wonderful and fantastic evening. Please stay blessed. Be kind to one another. Take care. I'll see you real soon.